Sail,
O sail,
and wave the great feather for the good of it. All of the month of March has been given National Women's History Month. And for that whole month, I have taken the opportunity of that to present what I can that I have here in favor of her here. And then I'm continuing that. The last week when I did, I finished it with the poem of Navaratri. So that's kind of like what we're segueing into right now. And the title for this talk today is going to be Durga, the Tiger Woman. And she's a Mahadev. That's the other thing I should say. In place of the English word goddess, which I think is totally inappropriate, for these meanings, I use the Indian word Devi. So I'll stick with Devi, through all of that. And the first one we're going to be looking at here that I have is Mahadevi, Durga. And we can go way over there. The traditional Indian year starts in the spring with the waxing moon, the second half of the month of March into April. It's called Chaitra. It begins with the 9-day homage to the Mahadevi Durga, and that's called Navaratri. She appears as the 9 Shaktis and dwells among the people. She is feasted and entertained as a visiting queen. Culturally, the 9 days stand for the 9 steps the individual soul has to take on its way to realizing its truer nature. For the first 3 days, Durga is worshipped as the fierce tiger-riding martial queen. And then for 3 more days, she is worshipped as Lakshmi, the provider of prosperity. And the last 3 days, she is honored as Sarasvati, the Devi of light and wisdom. The 10th day will be Dasara, the honoring of her sword. This represents the 3 major steps in the transformation of the soul. It starts with the victory over negative forces, goes on to worldly prosperity, and then to gentle wisdom, and reaches its goal in the buoyant mind of yourself, or wholeness. So you can take all that in. This is a shrine picture for her here. And below it there you can see a nice white tiger helping her out there. So now come down here. This is a feast day picture for Navaratri. And you can see that she's here riding her tiger, and these are the 9 Shaktis. And then from that you can move right up here into her. This is a doll for the Navaratri. She probably has a proper name. I have this doll from a Hindu woman. She told me all about it. She brought it herself from India, and she wanted me to have it, and she very much emphasized, be sure that you keep her skirt, fluffed out in full. That was her real important thing for me to mind that. So she wanted me to have this, and here she lives with us. And I have here, this is a garland. These are garlands that are specially made to put on the images and pictures and so forth at this time. So in this case I have the garland on this doll. This which she is wearing is a choli. It's green and red. Even this covering I have for the altar is actually the same thing. This is actually a woman's choli of the Navaratri. So that's very much who she is. She has marks on her face and on her bindu, on her forehead, and so forth. So she's very wonderful representative here for women who are celebrating and worshiping in the Navaratri in India. They can come right over here to these figures. So we can see them. This is from Nepal, the one I'm showing you, and it is, very much the usual figure of Durga in her martial array. And down here in front, this is a very old one, very antique one of her. This one, her pose is that she is slaying Mashima, the villain in all the story. And the red sindoor powder is that she's very old, hundreds of years old. And this shows that she has been, very, very much, puja is what they call the worship here. Now from there, let's go down to this one here. This is a modern and very favorable picture of Lakshmi. So here she's given, prosperity. That's pretty much what she's known for. So that's the first representative. Then go up here to this figure. This is another figure of her that's very, very old. I don't know when the name Lakshmi came into use, but she's definitely known, way, way back into the Vedas, where she's known as Shri. And she actually is like lotus woman, the woman of the lotus, or the flowering of plant life here. And so she has flowers on her. So this is a very special piece. And if you go over to the other side of her here, this one, this is a replica. This is from the Indus Valley, which the Indus River runs through what is now Pakistan. But in recent years, it was discovered two very ancient cities. It's all 5,000 years old, like that. All the people were gone. No one exactly knows what happened or why they left. But hundreds and hundreds of these, usually clay figures of females, have been found by archaeology there. And this one is a very good representation, because without really knowing what these figures' names were or what they were supposed to be for, they figured there were so many they must have been in every household in these two excavated cities. But she has flowers there on her head that look much like the ones on the metal piece. So I think that that's a very good representation for Lakshmi. Again, she's pretty much figured with lotuses. In her early origin is said to have been from the mud, pretty much the way that the lotus also grows. It grows up from the mud here. And then we can go right here. This is the fish. This is Minasakti, the fish. And all throughout India, for as far as anybody can think, she is always a reference or a symbol for aphrodisiac there. And eventually she seemed to have kind of evolved even more into an actual female Devi and symbol. The red dot in the middle there, that's the bindu. And the bindu is extremely important there, as it's figured. This is the compacted congregation of all the Sakti powers, or the feminine powers, as they gather and pose ready to create. And with that on the fish, she exactly means that she is the vulva, or bhaka, or yoni. Yoni is the word for the source. It seems to have come from the tantric, perhaps. And often alternating with the fish is the lotus. The lotus, metaphorically, she is the flower of all life. And she's also figured, for a symbol, again, of the yoni, the female organ, and so forth. But also, metaphorically, again, to try and say, as I had presented before, there's also the culture of the second function of the womb. The first function being reproduction, the second function meaning evolution. So there's actually an evolution culture for the lotus. So, and the lotus has been kamshad into male deities, chiefly like Buddha and so forth, definitely changing the effect of what the lotus really stands for in all of this. So I'm going to turn the light off on this one. So we can go right up there to the center. This is my drawing of her here. And I'm going to make a homage, to her. Homage and praise to Durga, who is the tiger's mount, haughty with furious rage, who bears a tiger's skin. Praise to the fearsome striped one, bearing her fangs with a frightful body, who is adorned with signs of ferocity, O conqueress of woman's foes. Durga, who is stubbornly free from Hindus moralizing adenim in his effort to mollify her. So, while Lakshmi is claimed to be the most popular of the Devis in India, probably because, she gives a pitch on prosperity, that people can maybe get rich or something, but secretly at least, most women actually pray to Durga, because as I say, she continues to be free from the attempt to marry her off to one of the devas, the misters here. So I really like to have that here, right alongside of her. This is my actual portrait that I call Durga. So you can see her there. So in view of that, it's a good time for me to put in a little bit more. The mystery and potency of these Devis lies in their ambivalent natures and not capable of being comprehended rationally. In India, the cultural expression of the feminine psyche is called Sakti. And it suggests a depth of irrationality that is beyond logical analysis. So what we've seen in the, I don't know what you call it, kind of an evolution of Hinduism that has very much tried to accommodate the Vedic people who are said to have come from Iran, Aryans, and so forth, that have a very masculine, patriarchal theme, even if they have a mythology, but they definitely have the prowess over all of the literature, ancient literature of India. And I spent some time in the Vedanta Society in Berkeley and in San Francisco, studying especially the Bhagavad Gita and the Upanishads. So it definitely focuses on the idea of male consciousness and rationality and so forth. So the feminine principle in India still holds sway, although I've just heard that the president of India is trying to make the whole country a standardized Hinduism. I hope not, but at any rate, we still have other things, here. And so I want to go over here to this here. We're looking at a tiger there. India is a huge, huge country. It's a continent, and it's a country, a nation of villages, and all of these villages, have what they call grama devatas. That is female devis. Even the village that Buddha came from knows his grama devata here, and so we have a tiger, and along with the tigers in the village world, we'll call it, there was also the tiger shaman, and he was called Bayaga. And he was, somehow conversant with the tigers. It's somewhat similar to old Hawaii, where the Hawaiian natives there, I don't know if they had a shark shaman, but they definitely were conversant with the sharks by name. And even they were brought in their canoes, they were led by two sharks that they know by name. And then there were road sharks that the friendly sharks try to keep away from people in the water. So we have a little bit of that here in India with the tiger. So the tiger is called Bag in the Indian word, or Vagai in the Tamil word here. And and then I'm saying the shaman, the Bag, he knows all these tigers by name, and so he gives different names to them. When you go down here in front, you'll see a white tiger. That's a Shai Bag here. And then you have a horned tiger, and he's going to call Sing Bag, like that. And you have, the tiger who has a face like a dog Bag, and the tiger who has a short tail, bobtail Bag, and so forth. It goes like that. Just showing the conversance of the tiger shaman with the tigers. And then he had a method in which he would confer with we call the Earth Mother to support him. He would go around the village and drive a nail into trees that circle the village and ask her, in the form of a tree there, to support him in keeping out the man-eating tigers, the road tigers. So that is somewhat of a ritual memory. So this piece that I'm showing there at the time, there, let me turn the light off again.
Good.
That in the Indus Valley, again, from these excavations, were found what they call these seals. I'm not sure why they're called that, but they are carvings into a soft stone of, there are many of them, and they have different themes in them. But the one that we're concerned with here with the tiger, it has a kind of a series that I've seen illustrated that starts with a woman up in the tree. The tree seems to be the neem tree, which is a very medicinal tree and very important in India in the past, and still maybe tea tree oil comes from. And in the series, the woman is in the tree and she seems to be summoning a tiger, and the tiger eventually comes over to the tree, and she's out of the tree, and she appears to be doing a dance with the tiger. And now in this scene, she is evidently being transformed into the tiger. So it's a very small step from this illustration of this transmutation into our image of Durga riding the tiger. So that is also, my replication is a very good one and accurate, so that you can see something that was figured in this way 5,000 years ago. And then we can go all the way down here again. Here is another tiger. This is a metal cast tiger. It's called the Seripidu method of casting. This is from the Khans tribe metal workers in Orissa. It's probably 200 or 300 years old. What's important about it, as far as I'm concerned, is that it is filled with earth. In Arizona, the Navajos, whose ancestors have also come from a region near northwest India, that they have the mountain soil bundle, where they actually have little pouches that they go to the mountain and they put the soil into the pouch, for medicine and rituals. So in this case, this tiger here is a India earth soil tiger bundle here. And this also now introduces the whole feeling about India. The India name is Bharat Mahat, Mother India. India is a European name again. And India is...
Light.
Huh?
Off. Thank you.
India, the country, the continent, everything about it is personified totally as her. As her, she's also called Sati. And her places, her sites is all over the country. And it's figured as much. Even her Vag or Yoni is in the town of Kamapura, where in the shrine or temple is a huge stone vulva that is definitely treated by some red coloring for her menstrual periods regularly, and that's been going on for a long time. The other is the city of Benares, a very special sacred city, where the temple inside, instead of having the usual murti, meaning image of a divinity, there is a huge topo map of India. And people come there and they actually are venerating her in the form of that topo map. So all this is just to say how thoroughly and deeply is the regard and veneration of the very country itself, but even its soil that is in this antique tiger. How I had talked about Lakshmi, that was in our Navaratri, and the last 3 days is honoring Sarasvati. So we can go up here. This is my drawing of the original Sarasvati. Modernly, Sarasvati is always figured with a lute and a white swan, and she's very much credited with poetry, wisdom, lyrics, philosophy, all those kind of nice lofty things. But originally, actually, she's known way back in the Vedic times, whatever, thousands of years ago, that for the river. That is, Sarasvati was, long ago, a mighty, mighty river. And the Vedic rishis who recited, their songs of her, she seems to be both the river itself and the Devi of the river. So this is my illustration to capture all of that feeling of the original Sarasvati. And I'm very fond of her in this creation that I have made for Sarasvati. Eventually, she also becomes verily the tongue of Vishnu, so she has to do with eloquence in that way. How all of that came out of this mighty river, I'm not sure, but the Hindus have a way of converting things. Oh yes, going back over there while we're up high, this is my tiger head that's surmounting there, and I have a garland around the tiger's head surmounting all of this altar for Durga. Okay, now we're going to come to the sword. Okay, so Dara, the last 10th day, I mean the Navaratri is over, and the 10th day is now dedicated to her sword. So in any of these pictures you can see she's raising a sword, or in her murky figure she's raising a sword. So her sword is also the source of veneration on the 10th day here. And I can come here to you, so here's my drawing of her. This is Bhavani Devi. She is the Devi of sword. The Devi who is in the sword. So that's my illustration for her, as she is definitely raising the sword in prominence. Now at this time, swords are also put, special swords are also put on Durga's altar, and right here, we can look at this one, I lit up. This is a very, very old one. These things are small for, the small, we'll say, home altars. And so this is what I have, for putting her sword on the altar for her feast day here. And then you can go all the way over there to our side. You can see this is my ceremonial sword. As far as I know, in the myth of Durga, her sword is called Khadga. And so I have this up there to represent her sword, and I have the garland around her sword there to tie it in with this whole celebration of Durga. Okay. Okay, now for the last part, we're actually going to have Claudia. So now I'm bringing Claudia up here. She is going to deliver a piece and carry it out in Indian style, a conclusion to our celebration of Durga, the Maha Devi, who has never given in. Okay. Yes? Oh.
Well, I'm honored once again to be here and in the midst of these very powerful female Devis. And I had written a poem during one Navaratri, 9 nights, and I will deliver that now in honor of all of these women and all of the women that collected in this city tonight, or yesterday, for a No King's March. Thousands. May we all be heard, and may we all have the power that Durga will allow us to find our own equality in this time. Navratri, the 9 nights. Called to join your celebration, Ma Durga, I am here, ready to mark your 9 lunar days with dance and song. I put on my red and green choli, embellished with sequins and small mirrors, impatient to worship all your avatars of Mother Goddess. I drink only coconut milk, eat a bowl of fruit, say my morning greeting, and offer you my meditations. At this seasonal juncture, Ma Durga, you fling creativity, preservation, and destruction. In moments when I need healing, you always receive me. I join now with a woman's chorus. Earth needs your celestial energy. Come into my core. Deepen my spirit. The positive aura within me, Mata Dev, with devotion and faith. I circle this lighted candle before you and sing. Ya Devi Sarva Bhuteshu Matri Rupena Samsita Namastasyai, 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 Namo Namaha. Thank you.